Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for our fourth On the Frontlines webinar. I see some names of people who have joined us on prior webinars, and we'll be sure to share the link to those in the chat box today. So I love seeing all your names here, and I certainly miss seeing your faces. But again, thank you for joining us. Lots of volunteers, donors today, community partners. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I am Chelsea Buck-Lilac, Director of Development here at Interfaith. I'm going to cover a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. So the webinar is scheduled for 1 hour. Approximately the first half will include presentations from Interfaith staff, with the remainder dedicated to questions and answers. You can find that question and answer box on the bottom of your screen. Click the More tab if it isn't already visible in your bottom taskbar. Any technical issues can be submitted in that Q&A box, and someone will answer you directly, or feel free to call Jay if you're having trouble with the chat box or the Q&A box. His phone number is 760-803-1498. That's 803-1498. You're welcome to submit questions throughout the program, and they'll be answered in that second half. There is an option to submit questions anonymously. Otherwise, we will read your name when they're answered. Lastly, the webinar is being recorded, but you, our guests, are not visible. So I'd like to introduce Greg Angel, Interfaith Community Services CEO. Today, Greg is going to share a video of an interfaith food drive in a North County neighborhood. He'll introduce frontline staff at our warehouse facility, feature a mother and daughter who are moving from homelessness into housing, and finally describe how these efforts benefit our homebound seniors. So each staff person will share specifics about their various types of services being offered to the men, women, and children who are coming to Interfaith for help. So I will turn it over to Greg.
Awesome. Thank you, Chelsea, and thank you everyone for joining us. We're so excited to bring you here today to our warehouse here in Escondido that we've had for the last couple years, because the amount of stuff that you all are providing, that we are then directly connecting to people in need of food, of furniture, of other household items. That amount has increased so significantly that a couple years ago we took the leap and we started operating out of this warehouse. Behind me, you can see our refrigerated food truck. We're going to talk a little bit more about what we use that food truck for, and we're going to show you one of the ways we use it. And let's get right to it, actually. We're going to show you a video that we filmed just over a week ago, actually 9 days ago, Tuesday of last week, of a food drive that took a little bit of a different twist than our usual food drive. So check it out.
Interfaith Community Services continues to adapt, support, and fulfill the needs of our neighbors during these trying times. Our ability to alleviate the stress and worry faced by many men, women, and children in our community is because of partnerships like Rancho San Pascual.
And now, they're doing a hands-free drive-up delivery. It is so needed, so important. We've seen a 400% increase in the number of families coming to Interfaith in need of food assistance. A lot of families who never before needed our help. Many who only know us from donating to us in the past, but are now turning to us in their time of need And the community here is coming out to help and make a difference. And to that, we only have to say, we appreciate you. We appreciate the community. We appreciate everyone for coming together in this time of great crisis to help people help themselves.
I love it. I wish you could see me smiling through my mask. It was such an amazing show of support from a community, in this case, the Rancho San Pasqual neighborhood, that has been doing a food drive to support Interfaith for years. And they did a little bit of a different take on it, as you could see. And I'd like to introduce you to one of my coworkers who helps with all of these things that you just saw. Cesar Trejo is one of the lead supervisors in this warehouse. Cesar and his partner Manny Rodriguez are both going to join us today. Cesar, are you with us now?
Okay, so
Hey,
yeah, for the intro.
welcome,
So
Cesar.
yes.
So yeah, can you talk a little bit about what does the Rancho San Pasqual neighborhood normally do, and what did they do differently in the food drive that our listeners just saw?
Okay, so what the Rancho San Pasqual neighborhood normally does is we'll have a food drive where people come out and we'll set up for the food drive, and we'll really have everyone all together helping sort, package the stuff, load it onto the truck, and then bringing the food to our warehouse. Of course, it's all collected from within the Rancho San Pasqual community. But one of the things that we had to do differently, of course, with the ongoing situation, Greg, is that we really had to play our civic duty, not only for ourselves and for the larger community, where we have to make sure everyone's staying safe. We're not taking unnecessary risks. So as you saw in the video, we implemented a drive-up method where residents of the community can come straight to the food drive. They don't even have to get out of their car. They just open up their trunk. Staff members come out, collect the food, and we have other members from our staff there and volunteers directing traffic, packaging the food, loading up the truck, and really limiting the amount of contact and sticking to those guidelines that are so important right now in order to face the ongoing situation.
That's awesome, Cesar. And so do you remember any statistics on that food drive, like how many cars we had come through? And
Yes, I do actually. So
yeah.
We had 2 locations for that food drive. We had another one, or that day, we had another one down the road over by Rio Rancho Parkway and Bernardo Elementary. And at that first one, we had about 45 cars come by. And at our Rancho San Pasqual food drive, we had roughly 170 vehicles come by. So we were able to get quite a bit of food from both drives that day.
That's amazing. So that was one day, 2 food drives. If our listeners can see, I'm going to pan our camera around here and show something. Some of this may have come from that day, but I think most of this came from one of the largest food drives we've ever seen in the history of the organization, right, Cesar?
Yeah, and if you don't mind, Greg, I'm gonna really explain that and kind of go on a little bit of a monologue right here. So just bear with me. So first and foremost, I want to highlight how much of an impact and how great a role our community plays. They allow us to really do the work that we do and help the people that we help. I want to give everybody some insight into the issues that we face during these uncertain and challenging times. It's really been hard to conduct, business as usual, so to speak, and I'm sure everyone can relate to that. But going into this, one of our main concerns has been really providing for the needs of the people that we serve. be it individuals, families, or just people coming off the streets looking for us to help. As you probably heard in the video, we've seen a 400% increase in the amount of people coming to Interfaith with a need. As you can imagine, that has taken quite a heavy toll on our food reserves, on our food hygiene supplies, especially in our warehouse and pantry, where we like to stockpile food for our purposes for a few months. And as this whole situation has been evolving, we've really had to ask ourselves, you know, with the sudden increase in people looking to Interfaith for services, was it going to be sustainable in the long term? And, you know, we sat down, we had a little meeting, we ran some numbers, and we really came to the conclusion that with our current supplies about 8 weeks ago, we were not going to be able to continue to meet the demands of our community and the people who look to us for these services. So I just want to bring it back to how vital everyone is in our community, the donors, everyone who just really helps further our cause, because we sent out a communication about 8 weeks ago to our local community partners, and we were able to partner fairly quickly with the help of our faith relations manager with 2 local churches, North Coast Church and Emmanuel Faith Community Church. And as you were mentioning, we were able to hold 2 of our most successful food drives to date. And to give you all some perspective, in 1 weekend alone, we were able to source 60 tons of food and hygiene. Now that's 120,000 pounds. So, you know, that's quite an amazing feat, and I'm sure you can all agree. And that, combined with a massive individual response from other community members, we believe we should be able to have enough food to last us through the summer. I just want to touch up on another thing that we do. It's a fresh rescue program where we go out throughout the community. We go to local businesses in the morning, such as Target, Food for Less, Aldi, Trader Joe's. We also source other items such as fresh vegetables, fruits, dairy, meats. And this, and combined with our food drive supplies, really allows us to give the individuals and families that come looking for us for assistance a well-rounded food package. As I mentioned, we also happily provide other essentials such as hygiene for infants, diapers and formula, and whatever individuals may need. Now, Greg, I could go all day about, you know, the wonderful services that I get to be a part of that Interfaith really offers our community. But I hope everyone's really getting a sense of the work that we do, just the impact that we're having in our community, especially during these tough and challenging times. And I'll let you take it back over, Greg. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Caesar. Caesar has been, along with so many at Interfaith, working really long hours, weekends, evenings, lots of days without days off. He talked about the food drives that happened that weekend. That came after a week of picking up a lot of food, distributing a lot of food, and also moving individuals and families out of homelessness and into new homes. It's the whole other side of what we're doing, what you're supporting here through Interfaith Community Services, and what we do here at this warehouse. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to introduce you to Manny, Caesar's partner in crime. Before we do that, we have a video of one of the families who you helped move into homelessness in the not so distant past.
When we first came into the family housing program, we did not have anything really to our names other than our clothing and one mattress that my daughter and I shared. And then when we went ahead and opened up the unit that was for us, we were just thrown back. You know, we were just like shocked because we were like, wow, the living room was like furnished. The kitchen area was furnished as well. And the room for the grown-up was furnished, and the one for the child as well. We were just so overwhelmed by the generosity and the fact that somebody cared enough to set up something for total strangers.
So that was Carmen and Christina from a little while back, and they're one of literally thousands of people who you have helped end homelessness for through Interfaith Community Services. And the move-in that happens for families like that happens through the truck you see behind me. When we started today, I was just over there behind our, in front of our refrigerated truck, which does a lot of the fresh rescue pickups that Caesar talked about. But I mentioned the expansion of what you're supporting. Part of that is the use of this sucker behind me. And of course, it is a tool that is used by another one of our amazing leaders here at Interfaith, and that's Manny Rodriguez. Manny, it looks like you swapped out with Caesar in the linen section of our warehouse. Manny, can you talk a little bit about how our in-kind donation programs work and how we're moving people into housing?
Of course. Hi, my name is Manny. I'm a warehouse assistant here at Interfaith Community Services. I've been working here for 4 years now. As you all saw the video of Carmen and Christina, she's just, one of many stories throughout my time here at Interfaith. I'm very excited to share, Make It a Home program and how we make all this possible with the help of our donors, supporters, and our volunteers. We all as a team. And I also want to, just jump right into it. And, a lot of people ask me questions. And one of the main questions is, where do we get all this furniture from? So we get this furniture from various sources, many individual donors throughout the community, many local thrift shops, retail stores throughout the North County here in San Diego. Another word of mouth for us is very essential to our cause here. It helps us communicate and how we differ from other nonprofit organizations. For example, we don't have a retail store, so it's kind of hard, for us. We are very selective on the items that we do take because we go out, we pick up, furniture, we put it in a truck, and it comes back to our warehouse. But sometimes we're such in high need that this furniture that we're picking up goes directly from your home to the truck and, right out to somebody out in the community that's in need. So a second question that I get a lot is, what is the most, requested items from the clients that we get? So that's going to be our lamps, our side tables, couches, bookshelves, dining rooms, chairs, nothing big. All the items, preferably we want it small to medium size. All the individuals we move in is usually into like studio apartments, 1-bedroom homes, so nothing too big. And we generally move about 4 to 7 clients on a weekly basis. And so for every person that comes through our program for help and facing, they're facing a unique situation. And a big concern for, for someone moving into a new home is, how are we going to afford furniture for our new home? But thank you to our Make It a Home program. With your help and your support, we make this possible. For example, when we go into a home, sometimes it feels like you walk into a cave. It feels cold in there. There's no light. There's no couch. It's just empty. But when we go in there, how Christina and Carmen, how Carmen stressed that, she showed up to an apartment. It was fully furnished. You can just feel there's live, there's she can just read, see the opportunities like, wow, Interfaith really did this for us, and how we go, above and beyond, day in and day out to help the people that are in need. But none of this would be possible without the help, of everybody here at Interfaith. For example, also another time where, one of my clients, I get very passionate about what I do. One of my clients, I was, furnish his apartment, screwed on all the screws that go to the bed, set everything up for him. And he just gave me a really strong hug. He explained to me that, I haven't had a bed for 7 years. Can you imagine that? Not having a bed for 7 years? I possibly could not. So he came, hugged me, and I felt so much warmth and so much love. And I wish that I had some sort of superpower to just transmit that to you all. It just, right now I'm getting chills, about, the situation, but it's real. None of this would be possible without the help, of all the community here at Interfaith. So thank you all. Back to Greg.
Manny, thank you. Man, that was amazing and inspiring for me, and I'm sure inspiring for a lot of the people who are watching today. As Manny was talking, I was showing some of the furniture that we have here behind me. You can see some of the beds that we have. These are all purchased. They're all brand new beds. and they're purchased through monetary donations that are earmarked specifically for our Make It a Home program. So those gifts help support things like those new beds for families like Manny described. You are also doing a tremendous amount of work and support during this time of COVID craziness, and frankly, fear and desperation. You are doing so much for seniors, and for seniors who are stuck at home, some seniors who do not have homes, and seniors who are afraid they're going to be losing their homes. And so to share a little bit about that, I want to introduce our last speaker for today, and then we'll have some time for some Q&A with all of you, the listeners. I'd like to introduce and turn it over to the program manager of our senior services, Beth Halleck. And Beth is in her office, which is at Neighborhood Healthcare, a partnership between Neighborhood Healthcare and Interfaith Community Services here in Escondido. Beth, can you share a little bit about our work with seniors?
Sure, thanks, Greg. Hi, everybody. COVID's definitely, we've seen that COVID definitely has had an effect on the entire community, but particularly on our senior clients. Our clients are dealing with additional isolation, food insecurity, and additional finance issues. We've also found that they're experiencing increased anxiety and depressive symptoms, which for anyone is a concern, in particular for seniors if you can't get out of your home safely. Before this crisis happened, our senior services case managers would be able to visit clients in their home to avoid difficult transportation barriers or mobility issues. Since the crisis has hit us, we immediately moved to telephonic case management in order to protect both the senior client and our staff member. We've also been in weekly contact with all of our clients who have participated in our lunch program or accessed our minor home repair program. Altogether, this is totaled in well over 1,000 contacts with our community seniors, and they are all in need. They all need assurance, hope, less isolation, some socialization. We've addressed many of those items. And through those calls, for instance, we were alerted to a client whose anxiety and depression had escalated to an alarming and very serious high-risk level. And this gentleman lost all of his sources of income due to the crisis. We worked with partners here at our neighborhood healthcare behavioral health building, and as they expertly addressed his behavioral health needs, his depression, his anxiety, and adjusted treatment for all of that. Our case manager worked with him to address his past due rent and ensure that he was able to safely and securely stay in his home and release that stress so that he could not have as many symptoms and not have as much anxiety. Through this crisis, many of our seniors who normally consider going to the grocery store an outing and part of their needed interaction with the world, they can no longer do that safely, right? So in the last year, for instance, our team typically delivers about 20-25 food boxes or food bags to our senior clients to their homes. Just since this crisis began in the middle of March, which is just 2 months, let me just say, our team has delivered about 150, 160 emergency food bags to various clients in need. And thanks very much so to one of our Interfaith very generous donors. We are able to supplement some of those food bags with the necessary things from grocery stores that apply to special needs diets, because many of our seniors are on special diets due to medical conditions, right? So we're very grateful for that. We're fortunate that we've been able to house some of our seniors during this crisis. Typically, there's not a lot of low income and affordable, appropriate housing for seniors in our area. But during the last month, we've actually been able to move forward and house 3 of our seniors that were indeed homeless at the time. We've placed them all in appropriate housing, and we're very excited about this because it's hard to place a senior in affordable housing, something that meets their budget and their needs and their mobility issues. But to be able to do it in the midst of this crisis has been a huge thing for us. I would like to share, Greg, one of the stories of one of these 3 families. We've been working with this couple who is in their 90s for a couple of months now. When they came to us, they were living in a travel trailer that was really in need of some TLC. They had no hot water, they had no stove or oven, the heater didn't work, and the toilet didn't work, which neither did the shower actually, because there was no running water. And the 92-year-old wife has serious mobility issues. And so even in all of that, even with considering that, she was having to go take herself down and walk down to the campground bathroom several times a day. Our case manager worked with the couple, built trust with the couple, helped them gather necessary documents for housing applications. And they are now, as of 2 weeks ago, I believe, in their own home, in their own apartment, with a working kitchen, a working bathroom, and in comparison to the small trailer they were living in, a reasonable living room, right? It's been actually 15 years since this couple have had a permanent home. So we're very excited for them. And we've actually been able, in all 3 of these housing instances, to utilize many of the donations that are in the warehouse to help our folks settle in. So that's been a great thing. The senior team is extremely grateful to the community for supporting Interfaith and supporting our seniors that are in need and are suffering a great deal during this pandemic crisis.
Wow, thank you, Beth. That's the story of the older couple is really touching, and it's heartwarming that it has this happy resolution. But wow, it's such a reminder of the level of needs that are out there. It reminded me of probably most people didn't catch this, but in the video that we played at the very beginning, the food drive, near the end of the video, most of the people who donated pulled up in their car and we got the donation out from their window or from their trunk, and they didn't have to get out. But one of the first people who came was a 94-year-old, I believe, World War II veteran. And he got out and he was dancing as he made his donation. You know, it's this odd, crazy, weird time that we're in, where some people are able to still dance and other people are in absolute crisis. And the beauty of what we do at Interfaith Community Services, with the support of all the people who are on this call, with the leadership of the amazing professionals who you've just heard from, and those of you who have been on our webinars have heard from such a great group of professionals doing this work. The beauty of this is that we are all coming together, whether we're dancing or we're in crisis, whether we need help or we're the one providing help. We're coming together through what you all have created at Interfaith to help families, seniors, to help with food, to help in so many ways. And that's a really special thing and a really honor that we all have. So thank you to everyone for being a part of that. And we hope you enjoyed our little walk through of our warehouse here. You've seen the food section behind me. You've also gotten a sense for the furniture that we're collecting, and you've gotten to virtually meet one of the families who you've helped with that furniture. And so we want to devote the last half hour to answering some of the questions you might have, and a little back and forth with all of you. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to our host, Chelsea Buck, our Director of Development. And I got to say, by the way, today is Chelsea's birthday. So, happy birthday, Chelsea. And I'm excited to hear what questions are coming in.
I wish I could hear all of our attendees sing happy birthday to me. Thank you, Greg. Yeah, thank you all. Thank you, Beth, Caesar, and Manny. I know hearing what you have to share certainly makes me feel so proud to be part of Interfaith, and I hope that all of our guests today also, feel that pride for all the contributions you have made and you continue to make. So thank you all for sharing. We have some great questions coming in. A few about food. Caesar shared quite a bit about food donations in our recent food drive, of course. So do we still have a need for food? Bonnie asked, with the recent massive food drive, are all of the food items covered, or are there some needs that are still or continually not met? So thanks so much, Bonnie.
Thank you, Bonnie. That is actually an excellent question. So some of the items that we always continuously need are canned meats such as tuna, chicken, other things like that. We always have a need for peanut butter. We make sack lunches in the morning for our homeless population and just anyone who comes to Interfaith looking for a quick ready-made meal. We like to give them a sandwich. Usually that's peanut butter and jelly with a snack or water, just to get them through their period of hunger. And we need a lot of peanut butter for that, so we go through that fairly quickly. In terms of food need, there's always a food need. As I said, that food will last us through the summer, hopefully. I mean, we really like to help our community as much as we can, but in lieu of food, if you can, we're asking for hygiene items, which goes a lot faster than the food, if you can believe it, because everybody wants to stay clean, especially right now with the whole situation. It's hygiene has taken a heightened importance, or more so than it was before at our organization. So great questions, and I hope I helped answer them a little.
Thank you so much, Caesar. So just a couple more questions related to food. I see a lot of commercials to donate to Feeding America and other larger food banks. Do any of those donations to help them ultimately help Interfaith?
Another great question. So we actually have a partnership with Feeding San Diego, which is affiliated with Feeding America. So in one way or another, we all support one another. In the end, we actually get we place monthly orders with Feeding San Diego, which we pick up from their various locations in San Diego and North County. So we ultimately end up getting a lot of food from them as well. But as we can't stress enough, the need right now is far and wide and great. So, if you're not donating to us, if you donate to them, we all end up working with each other in one capacity or another. So it's just a cycle, and where we're all helping one another. So don't be afraid to donate to other organizations. Hopefully you continue thinking of us. But great question. Thank you.
Thank you, Caesar. Thanks for sharing about the importance of those partnerships. I'll stay on the topic of food here for a little bit. Do you give out food that is expired or out of date?
Unfortunately, we do not. So we try to keep it within its usable period. Some items can be extended beyond their printed shelf life on the cans, but just some of our clients are more wary of situations like that. They like products to be within day. It just gives them a more peace of mind. So when we stock our pantry, we try to keep everything within a usable shelf life date. We try to sort those expired items off to the side, and then we have another process for them. But typically, we try to keep everything within its date and its usable period. Thank you.
Thanks. Looks like one more here. How long will the food that's currently in the warehouse last? It seems like there's a lot. It does.
So yeah, definitely. If you look at that food, it seems like a ton of food, and that's because it is 60 tons, as I mentioned earlier. But the need is great. We've had that much food before, and with the situation right now, I want to say it'll get us through the summer. We're kind of taking it day by day, week by week. As you all know, the situations right now are unpredictable. In a normal situation, I would say that food is gonna last us a year. But I'm gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna say we're gonna get through summer just because of the demand is so great right now. Not just from us, but from all of the organizations within our community. Everybody's trying to play their part, and you know, we're being optimistic that that's gonna last us through the summer. But you never know. So you know, donations are always welcome.
Yeah, and as Caesar mentioned, even despite having 60 tons of food here, we're short on some really important things. We're short on tuna, and always on canned meats. It's always a shortage. And we get some fresh perishable items from our Fresh Rescue, but we still have a need to purchase some of those items for some of the food that we're preparing. And Caesar also mentioned the sack lunches that happen. And I saw a comment from Dave Schmidt earlier, one of our breakfast burrito crew, know that we're still making hot meals on Friday mornings for people. So there are needs there. And we're also looking right now at the amount of people you've been able to feed in the last 2 months. Caesar mentioned it, I mentioned it in the video. It's been a 400% increase. And we've done that by modifying our services. If you've seen any of the earlier webinars where you saw our drive-up services, that looks very different from the traditional, everyone comes into our interfaith office, meets with the volunteer, and then if they have food, we're gonna find out, well, okay, why do you need food? What's going on? Are you out of work? Have you gotten hurt or sick? Are your kids having an issue that's taking you out of work? And let's get at that underlying issue. And then let's also get you some food while you're here. We're still doing that, but in a very different way. As we see literally thousands of people coming to us, we haven't had those long conversations with every one of those thousands of people. And so we're looking at, okay, how do we continue to have those critical conversations so that we can carry out our mission of helping people to help themselves and to get at the root causes, while also understanding unemployment has never been higher in the state of California. We will hit perhaps 30% unemployment this month. It is the highest already in the history of the country. And with unprecedented needs, the ability to provide unprecedented levels of food to people who have those needs is really something that we take very seriously. So if we continue in the same method that we have, our drive-up services, where we're serving 400% increase, this food may last through the summer, may end a little sooner, it may go a little bit longer. But we're also looking at how we can take the model that's working here in Escondido, the model that's working in Carlsbad, for those of you who were on our last webinar, and look at other communities that we can take that to. So stay tuned, and there could be opportunities for a lot more food. But for right now, like Caesar mentioned, there's some particular items that we have major needs for. We'll put those in the chat box, and also cannot overstate the need for personal hygiene items. They go really quickly. And Caesar, you said very, very eloquently just how needed they are during this time.
Thank you, Greg. And yeah, just to sort of further quantify that increased need, we served over 2,000 men, women, and children just in our Escondido pantry a few weeks ago. So it's a pretty incredible number in just 5 days alone, thanks to all the work that Caesar and Manny do and all the support of the community. So in terms of hygiene items, what sort of hygiene supplies are we most in need of, or where can folks find that information?
So we have a needs list posted on our website, Chelsea. Also, you can contact us through email. One of our staff members will reach out to you if you contact us. In terms of the hygiene items that we need the most, it's soap. I know it's not really easy to get sanitizers or the like right now, but we can always use those in order to keep our community safe, so that everybody's doing their part. You know, body wash, just things that people can use to keep themselves clean and keep them practicing good hygiene.
Thank you, Caesar. And I see that we have shared our needs list right there in the chat bar. And also, as Caesar mentioned, there's a very up-to-date list that can be found on Interfaith's website. Couple questions about furniture, a couple questions about our services for seniors. So Manny, do we accept beds or used mattresses?
Glad you asked. So no, we do not accept used beds. The reason why is that we don't have a system in which we can sanitize them and then reuse them. And we were fortunate enough that, we do have a private donor that provides us with the funds to buy new beds for everybody. So, yeah.
Okay. You mentioned sanitizing. I have a question about how are make-it-at-home items being sanitized amid the current pandemic.
So when the items come down to our warehouse, we have volunteers here that help us out also. So we have, we clean everything pretty thoroughly with whatever items that we do have to clean.
Thank you. Thanks, Manny. Beth, with our senior programs, we have a question about some seniors have difficulty with doing things on the computer or online. How are you working with these clients if they need services? Can you go to their homes?
That's an excellent question. In the past few weeks, of course, we have not been in anyone's home, primarily because we're out and about a lot and we don't want to take anything into a home that we might have picked up somewhere else. However, we have gotten very creative and very good about talking people through their technological questions over the phone. And we're getting ready, we're ramping up right now to get back into people's homes. That should be happening in the next few weeks.
Thank you. Have we, Beth, also for you, have we helped seniors with rental assistance?
Yes, we have helped seniors with rental assistance. It's one of the main financial assistance items that we do. Our seniors, typically, many seniors in our area are living on a very, very fixed income and a very low income. So any change in medical condition or even car registration can cause them to be late or fall behind on their rent. And so we do have a fund from a donor that allows us to help with those items so that they can continue to pay rent. And if they need help with rent, we've also helped with that kind of financial assistance. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if I could just add on to that, I spoke earlier about the really high rates of unemployment that we're seeing. We're also seeing a higher rate of need for the actual dollar amounts for rental assistance, whereas we traditionally would help with $500, maybe $1,000 of rental assistance as a last dollar in gap to keep a family or a senior housed. We're already seeing requests that are needs that are beyond that, and we know that a tidal wave of potential evictions are ahead of us. The jobs, a lot of the jobs that have been lost are not coming back anytime soon. Jobs in the restaurant industry, which has been always a really accessible and fantastic way for somebody to get their foot into a job, earning a pretty minimal wage, but then an opportunity to move up and really take control of their own lives. Those jobs are so much less than they used to be. The same can be said across a number of sectors, including some of the retail opportunities that some of our seniors would move into before. And so what we're going to see are individuals not facing a partial month's rent and need to do that to fill that, to avoid eviction. We're going to see 3 and 4 months rent. And right now, our government-funded rental assistance programs are just not designed for that. They're designed for 2019. They're not designed for COVID-19. And so that's where the support of our community and the support of some of the donors who have been mentioned already is going to be so important, because we will only be able to help a number of these seniors and families with the last dollar in donations that that are provided that we not only put to play to help somebody be housed, but it comes with case management to ensure that that individual is going to be successful long term. We're really looking forward to being able to help a lot of people in that situation, knowing how great the needs are going to be. So thanks, Chelsea, for letting me share a little bit more about that.
Yeah, of course. Important information. Thank you, Greg. So sort of to piggyback off of the comments you just made, Greg, I have a couple questions about, are monetary gifts the most helpful, or how can people help? One from Nancy Kuhn. So thank you for that question, Nancy.
Yeah, monetary gifts are always the most flexible because they can be used to purchase food at the food bank if we're short on food. Cesar talked about our partnership with Feeding San Diego, Feeding America. We have a similar partnership with the food bank, and we can purchase food from those partners for, in the case of the food bank, 10 cents a pound. It's a great deal. So donations can be used to provide food if that's the need. Donations can also be used to keep a family housed, or to get an older couple, like Beth shared about, housed for the first time in 15 years. So that's always the most fungible. And then there are some of those really practical in-kind needs that are needed as well. Personal hygiene items, small furniture in particular. If you saw some of the background as I was walking around, we have some larger furniture that we actually have a problem finding homes for. The smaller stuff is more needed. And then you can see the needs list in the chat box with some more specifics.
Thank you, Greg. And Barbara, I hope that helps answer your question, which is more useful, monetary donations or material donations. That monetary funding really allows us the flexibility to meet the greatest need, whatever that might be at a given time. So thank you for those wonderful questions. I see Mudita in the chat box. Are these monetary donations tax deductible? They absolutely are. Interfaith is a 501c3 nonprofit, so yes, all of your donations are tax deductible. I have a couple questions about just getting involved. How do we, what volunteer needs do you have? How can I volunteer? How can I help? What a lovely group of helpers. We'll share in the chat box now volunteer opportunities. We also have our volunteer services manager, Mickey, here. So Mickey, do you want to speak to that at all? Oh, looks like you're muted, Mickey. Oh.
So Mickey, it looks like you're not muted, but your microphone's not working. So maybe we can send your update in the follow-up email. I'm sorry if it's not working for some reason.
Sounds good. That's okay, Mickey. I wasn't sure if it was just me or if others couldn't hear you. So more to come on volunteer opportunities, folks.
Hey, and hey, Chelsea.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know that some of our biggest volunteer needs are around helping seniors. And Beth, I wonder if you could, you shared a little bit about the need for packaging food items. Are there other volunteer opportunities that people can get involved in to help some of our seniors that we're working with?
Well, sure. Actually, right now we're working on collecting some volunteers or having some volunteers come in and help us deliver the food. We have a small team and they're very busy in and of itself. And so driving around is time consuming, and it would really free us up to do more case management and more isolation breaking phone calls and things like that. So we definitely have a need for delivering food. We also have a need for just shopping. We have a shopping list each week, and we just want to go and pick up some of the things that they do need for their special diets that we might not have in the pantry or the warehouse. So those are always available, and we appreciate all help and all support.
Thank you, Beth. Thank you, Greg. Let's see, a couple other questions are rolling in. So a few other ones here. I have recently started a 501c3 Women's Resource Center in Vista. How can we help? And also, how do we go about sending people to get assistance from you?
Nice. Let me take the first question the second question first. So here in Escondido, I'm at our warehouse. It's about 1.5 miles from our Escondido headquarters, which is at 550 West Washington. And we are open for walk-in services Monday through Friday in the mornings and the afternoons. We are typically closed on the first Friday of every month. I'm sure we can post a flyer in the chat with contact information for how individuals can call us, can find out about those hours and those locations here in Escondido, as well as in Carlsbad. And as things reopen, we'll see more in-person services at our Oceanside locations. We're looking forward to going back to Poway, where we normally have a social worker outstationed at Neighborhood Healthcare's health facility there. They're doing everything telehealth remotely. So we're doing the same thing. We're actually remotely connecting patients in Poway with things that address socioeconomic needs there. So we can provide that information. The first question about, you just started a 501c3, how can I help? Give me a call, let's talk. I will share my cell phone. Anyone can call me at any time for any reason. It's 858-336-4526, 858-336-4526. Give me a call, and yeah, we'll talk. This is an organization built on partnerships. A lot of the stories that have been shared have come about, the great outcomes have come through partnerships. Last 2 weeks ago, Manny was sharing with me the story of moving a family into an apartment here in Escondido run by Veterans Village of San Diego. A lot of the seniors who we're working with are referred to us by the County of San Diego through Adult Protective Services. I can go on. We work with everybody, so we'd love to work with you. Give me a call, and we'll see what good we can do together.
Thank you, Greg. And I see lots of resources, and including Greg's cell phone number, have been shared in the box, so be sure to check that out. I have a question from Dawn Abetta. Hi, Dawn. We love Dawn. My wife has made 24 masks. Where should I drop off, and are more needed? Dawn is also asking about a recuperative care update.
Sweet. Let me give the recuperative care update. So recuperative care, Dawn, is still going strong. We have a few less people than we've had before because the hospitals, thankfully, are not as full. And for our viewers who don't know, our recuperative care provides housing for individuals who are being discharged from hospitals but are still recovering from the medical condition or the mental health condition that landed them in the hospital. So we have a 32-bed recuperative care center, the Hawthorne Center here in Escondido, for veterans and civilians. And Dawn has been one of our absolutely amazing volunteers, driving residents, patients in that program to their medical appointments. And so we're still doing that today. And we're actually expanding the recuperative care program by signing new partnerships with new hospitals and health plans to help people in what you can only imagine is such an awful situation. You're homeless without shelter, and you're being discharged from a hospital, and you still have a recuperative care need. So we're working to actually significantly expand the number of beds that we have by purchasing a new property. And so we're going to have more to share on that, probably in the next few weeks. So maybe a future webinar will be at a location that is the next edition coming to Interfaith Community Services. And then Chelsea, maybe you can answer where the best place is to drop off mask donations.
Yeah. So Don, the best place to drop those off would be our 550 West Washington Escondido headquarters. I'm sure Mickey would love to hear from you to set up a specific time. Otherwise, we are open for drop-offs from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. We're kind of doing a curbside service there at 550, so volunteers will come out to your car and accept that donation. So feel free to drop those at our headquarters. I know you know where we are. So and Greg, are more needed? Don asked if more masks are needed.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, Don, the answer to that is absolutely. and continue to use those.
And Chelsea, I was just looking at the Q&A while you were giving the answer there, and I see someone asking about employment as well. It's totally related to the mask question. We have a lot of clients who are helping get into employment, getting into jobs. Those are all jobs that are community facing at this point, and they all require somebody to wear a mask. And so you need a lot of masks in order to do this work on a daily basis in a safe way. And a lot of the people who are turning to Interfaith for help, they don't have food, let alone masks for themselves and for their families. So it's a really big need. And yes, please keep them coming. It's very important, and it will help people get back to work as well.
Thank you. Thanks, Greg. Let's see here. Carl, hello, Carl. We are making hygiene kits for Calexico and Safe Harbor moving forward for Father Joe's. We have supplied you with Core hygiene kits. These are slightly different. May we add you to the list as well? I would imagine the answer to that is yes. I see Greg nodding over there. So absolutely. Thank you so much for that offer, Carl. We will gladly take it. Thank you. Hello, Gwen. To help the seniors with grocery shopping or delivering food, do I contact Beth or Mickey? Mickey.
Yes, you would actually contact Mickey first.
Okay, thanks so much. So Gwen, will make sure you have Mickey's contact information. I also want to point out Nancy Kuhn. Wow, you love cooking and grocery shopping. You really want to get involved. Nancy is also an RN. So Nancy, we'll make sure you're connected with Mickey, who's really the expert when it comes to volunteer needs and opportunities. So thank you for all of your wonderful offers. Lots of questions, guys. And yeah, Greg, it looks like you saw the question about is Interfaith helping people with employment needs? I know we have just a few minutes left. If there's anything else you want to speak to there.
Just briefly, that we're doing a lot of training online. Thankfully, there are a lot of online training opportunities that we're able to help people pay for and do, but not everything is online. We had a number of clients who were signed up to do EMT training, and that all got put on hold. So we're trying to find alternatives for them. So for some, yes, and for others, there are a lot less options. So it's a big challenge.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Greg. I see that it's 2:27, and I hope that we've gotten to most of your questions, or I hope that we've gotten to all of them. If you're having any lingering thoughts or questions, feel free to shoot those in that Q&A box. Otherwise, please expect a follow-up email from us with more information, including a taped version of this webinar, and we encourage you to share that with friends and family and anyone else who might be interested in the work that we are all doing here at Interfaith along with your help. So with that, I will turn it over to Greg to close us out here.
Thank you, Chelsea, and thank you, Caesar, Manny, Beth, for taking time out of your very, very busy days to join us today. And thank you to all of our viewers, to everyone who you took an hour out of your day to learn about how you're helping people during this great time of need. I hope you got to learn a little bit. Hope you got to be inspired a little bit. I hope you got to be a little impatient or a little unsettled by some of the things that are going on, but yet finding a way, whether it's working through Interfaith or any number of really good organizations in our community, to get involved and to make a difference, because that's what we're doing together. This is our time as a country to shine and work together. And you are doing that through this experiment called Interfaith Community Services that 40 years strong is bringing together all people to support one another. So we look forward to doing it for many more years to come, many more days to come. We are helping people thanks to all of you. So thank you for your time. Look forward to hearing from you. Give me a call if there's anything else that you wanted to ask that you didn't get to. Or reach out to any of our colleagues here, and we will look forward to hearing from you. And with that, I think we'll wrap it up, and we'll all wave goodbye. I don't know if everyone could see everyone, but we appreciate you. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks for the next webinar.
Thank you.